Okay, back again here. We're going to continue with the sketch, and what we're going to do is we can double click on the sketch here, or we can double click from the part navigator, and there is our sketch, and we have 3 constraints to go. So we kind of arrange the dimensions slightly so the sketch is readable, and at the same time we are verifying that we have the correct dimensions and the constraints where they need to be applied. And we notice that this arc here needs to be controlled, the center of the arc, and it's not controlled. So what we need to do, we have to create an auxiliary line. Create a line right here, anywhere in a space. And we're just simply going to take this line and we're going to constrain it by selecting the other line and making it parallel. Okay. So then we're going to grab the end point of that line and select the arc. And we're going to put that point on curve, right there on that curve. We're going to do the same thing with the bottom and the end point of the bottom of the line. Select that other line, and again we're going to point on that curve. The last thing that we're going to do is select the end point of this line, or try to select the end point of that line again, and then carefully select the arc. So we select the arc, and we're going to say midpoint. So we're going to move that line to the midpoint of the arc. And we still have 3 constraints to go. So we're going to put a dimension here, an angular dimension between this line and this line here, and that should be a value of 15. And we still have 2 constraints to go. So we're going to put a rapid dimension, or a linear dimension, between this line and this endpoint here. That would give us the overall dimension of 250. Okay, we have 1 constraint to go. So for that 1 constraint is we rearrange these dimensions here. We can see that the center of the arc needs to be in line with need to be controlled, and that's the reason why we have created this line previously. So we're going to select that point and select the line and point and curve. And the moment that we do that, we have a fully constrained sketch. So we are going through all the dimensional constraints, all the positional constraints, and the geometrical constraints, and we have completed the sketch the way we want to. And pretty much there's one more thing here. This particular line, you need to convert this to a reference line, but you can select this particular palette. See how it goes. It creates a phantom line, or you can actually select the line here and select MB3, mouse button number 3, and select convert to reference. And what it does, it converts that curve into a curve that is not going to be extruded. When we do the extrusion, we don't want that line to go. We just want the profile of the sketch to be extruded. We only created a line to control the center of the arc. That was the only reason for that line to be there. So those are reference lines that we occasionally create in sketches. And we have a fully constrained sketch, so we finish this sketch here. And the next thing to do is just create an extrusion. And by creating extrusions here, sometimes if you leave this under single curve and you select one of the curves, it only creates one line. But if you're careful enough, and if you toggle it, connected curves works, but the best thing is future curves, because the sketch is a future. So select the sketch itself, and you can control whatever extrusion you want to. It's up to you. Let's stop this at 40, and let's get it started at 10. It doesn't make any difference, just put any value. And that concludes the extrusion. We're done.